Fear of a trade war, hurting the overall market. And we have special guests on this, Senator Tim Scott and Congressman Trey Gowdy, Republicans both from South Carolina. Senator Scott, first, if I may, do you approve of President Trump's very strong stand in these trade talks with China?
I think he's done a masterful job so far. In the past, if you look at where we were with South Korea, we've seen progress made on the renegotiations. We're renegotiating NAFTA as well. And with China, China has done a great job of at least inappropriately, if not illegally, taking our IP. So what he's doing is creating a firewall. And I think his strategy so far has proven to be effective. I'm looking forward to what happens. And let's remember, let's take a step back. The announced new tariffs don't even go in place until next month.
Exactly. That
middle of May. We've got plenty of time to negotiate. Frankly, it is time for us to be at the table negotiating with China as opposed to saying, whatever you give us, we'll take. Okay. That is not an effective process.
Okay, let's see if you affect the market, because you're down 419 points when you said it.
Let's see if that changes. It's going to go back up.
Oh, careful, careful.
Oh, no.
Now, also in the news, President Trump just tweeted this about the border. He quoted literally about an hour, 15 minutes ago. Here it is. Our border laws are very weak, while those of Mexico and Canada are very strong. Congress must change these Obama-era and other laws now. The Democrats stand in our way. They want people to pour into our country unchecked. Crime! Exclamation point. We will be taking strong action today. We're waiting for that. Don't know what it is at this point. But Trey Gowdy, Congressman Trey Gowdy, is with us now. He wants to send troops, well, the National Guard, to the border. Do you approve, yes or no?
I do, because no country should ever apologize for border integrity. The president's right. It's a misdemeanor to cross the border without permission. A misdemeanor. It doesn't become a felony unless and until you reoffend, and it's not a crime at all to overstay your visa. I don't know what gets weaker than not being a crime and a misdemeanor. So no sovereign nation should ever apologize for border integrity. So by whatever means that needs to be accomplished.
I think he's doing this. President Trump is taking a very hard line because he's disappointed in what Congress did. I mean, you didn't give him a wall. He didn't give him war funds. You didn't give him any action on immigration. It's your fault, Trey.
Well, when you write a book called Unified, you don't want to pick on the U.S. Senate, but
nor should we.
But he will right now.
Should we,
okay, let's talk about this book. It's called Unified. You wrote this thing together. It's about race relations. I've lived in America for 40-odd years now, and it seems to me that race relations are not good. What are we doing wrong?
Well, one of the things I think we could do right is it's hard to hate what you know. So the more up close and personal we have in our relationships, the easier it is going to be for us to solve some of the issues. You need rapport, credibility in order to actually address problems. We're always rushing to the problems, and very seldom do we take a look back over the provocative and rich history on race in this country and recognize the progress that we've actually made. When we were kids, we would not have been able to play together, drink out of the same water fountain, go to the same restaurants, stay in the same hotels. So in less than 50 years, for him, he's only 30 years old, but for less than 50 years, yeah, it was a joke, by the way, Stuart. For less than 50 years, we have seen amazing progress in this nation and in our state. So the fact of the matter is, one of the reasons why we wrote the book Unified is because we understand that in a polarized country, we can remain one nation if we have serious American family conversations.
If I were to stand up on this program and publicly say, I think race relations are really pretty good, they've improved enormously, I'd be shouted down, Trey. I wouldn't last 5 minutes.
Well, that's because we're currently in a culture that loves negativity. Conflict is commercially successful. Conciliation is not. The reality is we have made progress, but we've not gotten where we need to get. Law enforcement, the criminal justice system is a perfect example. White communities and communities of color view that differently. So it's really hard to hate something you know. And I think what Tim and I would like people to do, what we advocate for in Unified, is to have a conversation which hopefully leads to a relationship with someone who doesn't look like you, who doesn't have your same political ideology, that doesn't have your same religion. Quit going to the conflict. Contrast is okay, but quit going to the conflict and focus on what we have in common.
I'd like to, a lot of the young black folks who appear on this program are activists. They're in politics or the law. I'd like to see them go into business. Start a booming business.
Trust me, my life was changed when I met a mentor who was a Chick-fil-A operator who taught me that you could think your way out of poverty, because as a kid who was not doing well in school, he wanted me to spend more time focusing on my academics and maybe a little less time on my athletics. And frankly, buying my mom the house or getting her the new car, all that happened through my business success. So the reality of it is that you have a 1 in a million shot at being a pro athlete, but you have like a 1 in 10 shot at being an entrepreneur, and probably 1 in 11 being successful in business. If you don't quit, you win in business. And you do have to learn some lessons the hard way. But our book, Unified, talks about ways for us to deal with the challenges that we face, and you can be hopeful that our best is yet to come.
We like that. And you did very well, Mr. Senator.
Thank you.
Trey Gowdy, it was a pleasure,
Thanks, sir.
both of you gentlemen. Thanks for being with us.
Yes, sir.
Much
Thank you.
obliged.